Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be giving you my Scorpio May 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, well, first thing up is as far as May goes, the Sun will be in Taurus from the 1st until the 20th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So anyway, at this time for Scorpio, well, there could be a strong concentration of power, focus, attention into dealing with open adversaries, relationships, business partnerships, perhaps others in general, legal matters. It could be legal documents and negotiations. And given that this is in Taurus, well, this could be done with a lot of ponderance energy, a lot of patience and determination, and much persistence and tenacity, but in a very calm manner as well, with stolidness and perseverance as well, even sticking through things connected with the 7th house, even if they're not always going right for you, done in a very methodical and deliberate manner as well. So anyway, and also, too, this could possibly shine the light, so to speak, on a Taurus open adversary. And it could be where, I mean, this could be an actual Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or somebody that embodies Taurus-like characteristics. Anyway, next thing up. As far as May goes, the Sun will be in Gemini from the 20th until the 31st, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Scorpio, there may be a very strong concentration of power, focus, and attention put into making a transformation, intimate sexual relationships, taxes, insurance, inheritance, perhaps, maybe even matters, something with the astrology, supernatural, occult, psychology even, and shared resource and emotional and moral support. And this could be done perhaps with a lot of animated and in an animated and vivacious manner, perhaps handled very shrewdly, and really done in a very quick and facile manner as well. Not like the Taurus energy previously. The Gemini energy is really practically the antithesis of this in terms of the speed, and could be done. The thing you got to be careful is, as far as, you know, certain things with the 8th house, and you know, whether it's making a major change or transformation, really doing things, don't, you know, Gemini energy could be somewhat vicarious as well, and it could be where, you know, you're living, you know, at times maybe through someone else's matters connected with the 8th house, such as sexual relationships. It could be something connected with, you know, with astrology or other 8th house matters. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is the new moon will be in Taurus on May 15th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Scorpio may embark perhaps on a new Taurus relationship or connection. It could be with a Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply someone that embodies Taurus-like characteristics. This could be perhaps a new business partnership that may be initiated. It could be connected with something Taurus-related, such as something with finance, cultivating, gardening. It could be a gardening business, or something with banking, architecture, construction, or even something with a pawnbroker, something where the value of things are essential. And at the same time, too, this could be a new stubborn or obstinate court battle that Scorpio may, you know, have to might start at this time. And it might be where you might even be obstinately stubbornly wanting a compromise at this particular time in some situation or some kind of reconciliation, and may decide that you want to pursue this with a lot of persistence. So, and in some cases, this could be a new Taurus open adversary. It could be a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply someone that embodies Taurus-like characteristics. Next thing up, the full moon will be in Sagittarius on May 29th. So the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, Scorpio may simply become tired, full, exasperated, perhaps at a person, maybe at the place they generate income with. It could that might seem foolhardy, reckless, overly voracious, maybe overly blunt to the point of demoralizing someone. And it could be somebody that might be so really at a point where they're so blunt and speaking this so, Sagittarius like veritable truth, that it could have a negative impact on your self-esteem or your self-worth. And also too, this could be the conclusion or culmination of a Sagittarius money-making, perhaps venture. It could be something connected with sports, horses, stables, publishing, something that might be associated with exploration. This could be an end of perhaps maybe some kind of philosophy that might have had a negative impact on your self-esteem or self-worth at this time. And it could be an end of something where maybe something becomes published that of course can have a very good impact perhaps on your income and your monetary situation. So anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Aries as far as May goes from the 1st until the 13th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this could manifest perhaps in a lot of aggressive, combative, outspoken, impetuous, and impulsive communications, perhaps with people you work with, your place of employment. It could be someone in your daily routine. Somebody that may figure prominently in your health life, such as maybe somebody that you may know at a health and fitness club, or maybe a doctor even. This could also be the way this could manifest as well. This is also, it could even be with maybe an aunt or an uncle as well. Remember that the 6th house represents, it's the less dominant parent sibling. So it could be these communications could be with an aunt or uncle. And also too, maybe it could be the expression also of maybe some new original and pioneering ideas that you express, maybe that might be work employment related, that might be something where you maybe it helps you maybe find some other work perhaps. Or remember too, this could also be, Mercury is not just about communications. It could be about siblings as well. This could be about rather maybe aggressive, outspoken, even acerbic siblings, maybe factoring in somehow more in your daily routine, maybe a little bit more so than usual. And really, in Mercury in Aries also could be energy when one can become acrimonious or angry if one disagrees with you. So it could be too the way this can manifest, where you might become a little bit exasperated or angry. Maybe someone in your daily routine disagrees with you. Somebody maybe in your could be an aunt or an uncle. It could be somebody in your daily routine, maybe at your place of work. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Mercury will be in Taurus as far as May goes from the 13th until the 29th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be a lot of deliberate, ponderous, persistent, and methodical communications, perhaps with someone you're in a business partnership with. It could be a significant other, some relationship with others in general, perhaps, and even with maybe even with things connected with legal matters as well, and maybe matters connected with open adversaries. This could be too where really where, I mean, remember that Mercury, as I stated before, that can also be about siblings. So this could be about loyal, steadfast, and persistent siblings that maybe might play a role maybe in a relationship, or maybe connecting with a potential significant other if you're unattached, or helping you out maybe in some legal matters or dealing with open adversaries. Also, too, this could be, the way this can manifest is about perhaps assimilating information and learning through things that are demonstrated visually. It could be something where you're learning perhaps in a situation with others or with a significant other. It could be some subject that you might be learning with him or her. And anyway, and it could, and the seventh house is also about legal matters, so it could be something, matters connected with maybe handling a legal situation, and maybe watching something, say, on YouTube as well. And it could also be more unwavering, stubborn, obstinate communications that are connected with legalities at this time and with others in general. So anyway. Well, next thing up is, as far as May goes, Mercury will be in Gemini from the 29th until the 31st. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be, I mean, a time where he or she might be dealing with some mercurial siblings, and then in the negative side, they might be bringing maybe some crisis situation into one's life at this time, or maybe really loquacious siblings that might actually be able to help Scorpio make a major change or transformation or deal with a crisis issue. The way this can manifest too is perhaps expressing manifold ideas connected with 8th house matters such as psychology, astrology, death, making a major change or transformation. And also too, this could be, the way this could manifest too, is dealing, having more, a lot of communication, extensive communication with the sexual partner or someone you're in an intimate relationship with, and you might be more loquacious than usual with this person, and also be articulating things well with him or her, and doing so with a lot of Gemini, like eloquence and good diction as well. Anyway, well, as far as May goes, Venus will be in Gemini from the 1st until the 19th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So when you're talking about Gemini energy, if Scorpio is unattached, this could be, the way this could manifest in some cases, it could be perhaps two relationships simultaneously that may be somewhat superficial, but given you're talking about the 8th house, they might be a little bit deeper than usual, than the typical Venus and Gemini energy. Now, also, this could be about enjoyment of mental, intellectual stimulation within, perhaps with a sexual partner, with someone you're in an intimate relationship with, and perhaps the enjoyment of playing, doing things where, I mean, that could be Gemini, I mean, into mental games at this time, such as haiku, chess, Sudoku, or Tetris, and with perhaps the sexual partner or someone you're in an intimate relationship with. Could also be valuing and love of communication about perhaps psychology, astrology, the occult, supernatural, things that are deep and provocative, and enjoyment and love of perhaps of dexterity, doing things that are dexterous, then also tied into making transformations such as recycling, perhaps even rebuilding vehicles. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Venus will be in Cancer as far as May goes from the 19th until the 31st. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, perhaps this could manifest in a love of contemplation, introversion, reminiscing, commiserating, perhaps with in-laws, grandchildren if applicable. It could be with foreigners. Also too, as well, if Scorpio is unattached, Scorpio may connect with a Cancer sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Cancerian-like characteristics. It could be in when he or she travels abroad, or maybe at a college or university, or at some maybe even religious congregation, or someone that an in-law may introduce to him or her. Now, also too, this is where the philosophical, looking at this as well, this could manifest perhaps in valuing the home and expressing sympathy and compassion, perhaps toward foreigners, toward in-laws, grandchildren, the enjoyment of the home with in-laws and grandchildren, perhaps. This could also be also a love of nurturing maybe one's philosophy, one's religion at this time, perhaps as well, and the enjoyment really of really just expressing, really sympathetic energy in general toward perhaps maybe in-laws and grandchildren. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Mars will be in Capricorn as far as May goes, from the 1st until the 16th. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Scorpio, well, there could be more, the situation perhaps with siblings, neighbors, even maybe someone from your early education may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There could be more arguments connected with responsibilities with these people. Also, the way this can manifest perhaps is strong discipline, serious and consistent energy into communications, writings, matters with siblings, with cousins even. And this really could be more mental and physical energy, very abundant mental and physical energy perhaps at this time than usual, but very consistent as well, given that this is Capricorn. Now also too, this could be too, the way this could manifest is maybe some consistent, premeditated, planned sexual energy, and I should say sex, perhaps with somebody that might be in your neighborhood. It could be someone that a sibling introduced you to, or maybe an old connection from your early childhood, or not your early childhood, your early education, I should say. That's what I meant, not early child, but early education. So, and also, anyway, the next thing up is, well, Mars will be in Aquarius as far as May goes, from the 16th until the 31st, so the 4th houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, the situation with the family members or someone you're close to home with might be a little bit more acrimonious and contentious than usual. You may be angry at some kind of bizarre or idiosyncratic behavior with somebody connected with your home and family life, someone you're close to home with. Also, too, this could be putting energy really in, or maybe you might even be a little bit angry or agitated at perhaps who you are at the core at this time. And also too, on the positive side, this could be about injecting a lot of selfless and humanitarian energy, perhaps into getting in touch with your roots. It could be traditions, maybe even, or matters pertaining to the home and to the family, people that you're close to home with. This could be too, maybe in some cases this could manifest perhaps in unusual accidents at the home as well, and really doing something maybe at home where you're putting energy maybe into something Aquarius-like, such as astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, or innovation. And really also too, this is really energy perhaps with friends even connected with traditions. So, and maybe even something home related. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Jupiter will still be in Scorpio, so the 1st house will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio, and it will be retrograde in May. So anyway, well, as I've talked about before, that I mean, Jupiter is paradoxical, it's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to expand and enlarge, and this could sometimes expand the waistline, as there might be a little more propensity to gain weight at this time, maybe indulging a lot of dark foods at this time for Scorpio. Also, too, it could also talk about, the expanding thing with Jupiter. This could perhaps expand maybe surreptitious or nefarious activity, perhaps maybe from someone from your early childhood, maybe with yourself to some degree. This could also expand your Scorpio general characteristics, the good and bad. I mean, the good being the resiliency, ability to see through subterfuge and superficiality, the resourcefulness of Scorpio, the guile, the ability to strong willpower, but at the same time it might also expand the sneaky, surreptitious, manipulative qualities, overly obsessive qualities. So, but also too, when you're talking about Jupiter and first house, this could be about being a little bit more jocular and jovial than usual, but with Scorpio-like humor, more, but which could be, of course, subtle or sarcastic. And also, too, this could be some luck and fortune making a transformation of the physical body, and especially if this actually is hitting the ascendant. Now, also, remember that this being retrograde, this could be about a review, maybe over a profound or deep philosophy you have, perhaps about yourself, and maybe even new beginnings as well. And this also can manifest perhaps in luck and having secrets unveiled, maybe from someone you knew from your early childhood, perhaps. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted, and it will be retrograde. And it will be, well, actually, this is Saturn. This is a thing where it will be retrograde. I'm sorry, it will be retrograde for at least part of the month, if not the whole month. I do believe it. I do believe Saturn will be retrograde for the whole month of May, but you have to check and just make sure on that. So anyway, this could be, the way this can manifest is this could be about restrictions and limitations, perhaps connected with siblings. It could be with your communications, also maybe cousins even. This could cause some certain maybe despondency and feeling melancholy. And also too, the way this can manifest perhaps is maybe taking care of a perhaps a debilitated or maybe a debilitated or sickly sibling, someone in your, maybe a neighbor perhaps. And of course, this could cause some despondency as well. And it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees or the bones or the joints. And also, the way this can manifest is putting serious responsibility into communications, into your transportation. It could be issues with the vehicle, perhaps. And remember, during the time when you're talking about Saturn retrograde, I mean, this could be where one sometimes is not cognizant all the time of their limitations, and they might take on a little bit too much responsibility, and it could be something connected with short journeys, and maybe just doing some quick errands for people, doing maybe matters connected with siblings, with cousins, something, or maybe someone even, or maybe with communications. So it's just important to remember not to overdo it when you're talking about Saturn in retrograde. So anyway, well, next thing up is, well, Uranus will be in Aries as far as May goes from the 1st, and it will be there for, it's going to be there for about from the 1st until the 15th. So The sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be about perhaps dealing perhaps with some kind of unusual or enigmatic illness. In some cases, it could be something where, it could be something with the nerves, or some, some kind of, something that feels almost shocking, or electricity. Like I have Uranus in my sixth house in my natal chart, and I have irrevocable nerve damage. I've talked about this previously. Some of you may already know about that. So just be careful not to overdo it at this time for that reason, because there might be more propensity to get some kind of, I guess you could say, like an injury that might cause those kind of sensations, something which could bring about some kind of nerve damage. So anyway, also too, there might be something in your daily routine that might be erratic and sporadic during this period. It might be unusual, volatile behavior maybe from people in your daily routine, or you might even pick up some kind of Uranus-like employment at this time, doing something perhaps connected with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, innovation, even aerospace. So, and anyway, the next thing up is, as far as May goes, Uranus will be in Taurus from the 15th until the 31st. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, this could be perhaps about it could be how stubborn friends might maybe factor in somehow to some 7th house matter, maybe trying to get you maybe to connect with someone, to have a relationship, a significant other, if you don't already have one. It could be some cases unpredictable, obstinate behavior just from others, perhaps in general, or dealing with somebody, an open adversary that might be somewhat unusual, or someone that might be really might be somebody that might be in a Uranus field, such as astrology, an innovator, someone with computers or electronics, perhaps. And also too, this could be about the formulation of some kind of new financial plan for maybe something that is you collaborate with. New, maybe ingenious way to make income, and you may do it with a significant other, perhaps maybe with someone else in general, and it could lead maybe to some kind of business partnership. So anyway, well, next thing up is Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, Scorpio may be dealing with some deception and duplicity, perhaps in their love and romantic life with children, perhaps. Someone connected with the 5th house may be involved in some drugs or alcohol at this time, and Scorpio needs to be careful not to delude his or herself in matters connected with conjecture and speculation. And also, this could be about the dissolving and dissipation of a connection with the child, or perhaps a romantic relationship at this time. And really, it might be a time too where Scorpio becomes involved in a Neptune-like hobby, or something that they truly enjoy. It could be something connected with the metaphysical, which could include astrology, something with illusions, such as doing magic tricks, being a magician, chemistry, photography, even farm, and really those can be some things at this time that Scorpio might become interested in terms of having some kind of amusement and enjoyment. So anyway, well, next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Scorpio, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I do it anyway. The thing about this is, this could be, the way this could manifest in some cases, it could actually be a literal death of a cousin, a sibling, a neighbor that you might be close with, somebody that you may be involved in your daily communications or short journeys even. Also, too, this could manifest perhaps in power struggles with siblings or neighbors, perhaps. And remember that some Pluto, I mean, Saturn can restrict and limit where Pluto can flat out obliterate and destroy. And this sometimes can maybe obliterate or destroy maybe a situation maybe in your neighborhood. But that could mean, remember that Pluto also is about rebirth and regeneration. And when something ends, a connection could end in a neighborhood you may be in, for example, or some communications you may have with some people, but something else could very well supplant it sometime afterwards. And also, too, this could be a time where maybe there's some transformation in speech that could take place. It could even just simply be involving learning another language or speaking another language more fluently, and maybe even perhaps than the current one you could be speaking as well. So, and also too, the way this could work out in some cases, just to be careful of perhaps manipulative behavior, maybe connected maybe with you toward a sibling or a cousin perhaps, or vice versa, or maybe even something connected with a neighbor, or even something that would involve short journeys, such as saying, well, I'm not going to take you here to the store if you don't do this, and things of that nature. So, and also really, this could be a way this can manifest. Remember, Pluto is about often obsessive behavior, fixated behavior. So you might see maybe some obsessive or fixated behavior maybe coming from a cousin or a sibling or a neighbor. And this is the third house, the rational mind. So just be careful that you don't, in some cases, in isolated cases, this could manifest in getting some kind of obsessive or compulsive type behavior or situation going on. So anyway, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo still. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So when the North Node is in transit, the way this can manifest is this could reflect something that one has to confront and address. And in this case, it could be having to confront perhaps a domineering, bombastic, overbearing, or even overly flamboyant, maybe a dominant parent, which is often the father, or somebody that you know in your it could be an authority figure even. And also too, this might be a period too where you might be trying to command or demand some attention, recognition in matters pertaining to your career, what you do for a dominant parent, what you're doing for authority figures. And also too, it might be involving, maybe you may have to be more extravagant and spend more money if you're trying to improve, like say, your public image, your stature in life, or I should say maybe gaining some notoriety and recognition. And also too, there may be some situations that might be dramatic situations connected with your public image and reputation at this time that might need to be addressed at this time. And also about being directed toward expressing more generosity and being more magnanimous in connection with the dominant parent at this time, and maybe people that are close to you that are connected with your career even. So anyway, next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time for Scorpio, well, one way this can manifest perhaps is this could be a revelation perhaps of a sibling, a neighbor, a cousin even, that might be showing some tyrannical, ruthless, overambitious, and very undemonstrative qualities. Maybe someone that may be trying to really using maybe sexuality to get to the top, so to speak, to further their ambitions, their career ambitions. This could also be too when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about what could put one in a state of fright or trepidation, and that could be, in this case, perhaps relinquishing authority, maybe over maybe a neighbor that you know very well, or a sibling, or a cousin, perhaps, or somebody that you know, even in your maybe in your short journeys. Also, too, the way this could manifest, I mean, when you talk about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about the unveiling of a formidable adversary, perhaps a Capricorn adversary at this time, which could, I mean, this could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply someone that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. And also, too, this could be a revelation or unveiling, something that you didn't want out of the bag, so to speak, but it winds up coming out. That could be a very limiting or restricting, maybe connection, perhaps with siblings, at this time, or even with neighbors, which is which could really be making you feel very despondent, or something just with your communications in general that's very limiting, depressing, and restricting, and you might have a very pessimistic outlook on this. Last but not least, Chiron will be in Aries. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Scorpio. So at this time, well, this could be really about dealing maybe some emotional suffering and wounds, and even really physical suffering connected with literal headaches, or even some injuries to the head and face at this time. And also facing strong repercussions, perhaps from lack of aggression and enterprise in work-related matters, maybe with maybe something with someone in your daily routine, or maybe not taking initiative, maybe in being at service to somebody when you maybe could have. And also, too, I mean, we're talking about Chiron and Aries. This could be about unworthiness of the self, and at this time, this could be about a time where you might feel, maybe you don't feel, there's some unworthiness, maybe you're feeling in connection with your work life, or you don't maybe fit in, you feel like you don't fit in with your fellow employees. And even from a health perspective, maybe you feel like you don't quite measure up to a lot of other people in terms of your physical health, and really this really, and maybe in comparative standpoint to others that are prominent in your daily routine. I mean, remember, the sixth house is also about aunts and uncles, because sixth house represents the less dominant parents' siblings. So you might feel like you don't really, maybe you feel that they don't value you, or an aunt or an uncle may not value you at this time, and it could lead to some diminished self-worth and self-esteem at this time. So anyway, well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio May 2018 horoscope. What I wanted to say, the one thing I want to rewind before I said that, I want to go back to the Chiron and Aries, and I want to say that, remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. So in ways for this Chiron and Aries and sixth house energy that Scorpio might be having difficulties with, I just want to say that they could also help. They may be able to help others out with comparable situations, in doing so with a lot of Aries like courage, fortitude, enterprise, initiative, and aggressiveness. Now, I want to say that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio May 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I am going to be talking about what I believe is the strongest rising sign. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.